Hey, my friends, this is Ron, live with you, live at 5 today. And today we're going to talk about appraisals. We're going to talk about what happens when your appraisal comes in higher or lower than expected. So before we do that, I'm going to remind you that we have a giveaway that we're doing. I'm going to invite Sydney on real quick. Sydney, come jump on real quick. So what's
Hey, yeah. So we have a giveaway coming up tomorrow. You'll see kind of the information on how to enter. It'll be for two $25 gift cards for Amazon. So we have that one coming up, and then on December 12th, we have another one coming up with a bigger prize than that one. So be watching and following us. Make sure you're following us, and we'll give you all the details on how to enter so you can win.
Cool. So the nice thing about the Amazon gift cards is, like, once you win, we can get those right over to you. So yeah, you can use those right away. Good time for Christmas. So let's get back to what we're here for. Which is the giveaways, right? So we are talking about appraisals. So if you're buying a house, I'm going to talk about refinances too. If you are buying a home and you order an appraisal, what happens if that appraisal comes in too low? So you have multiple options. And so the first thing is I'd probably go back to your sellers and ask them to renegotiate the purchase price. So if your appraisal comes in $5,000 too low or whatever it is, you obviously don't want to pay more than the house is worth. Today's environment, that's still maybe a possibility, but you can ask them to lower the purchase price. And if they don't want to do that, then you have several options. You can go and you can come in with some additional funds to pay for that difference between the appraised value and for and the purchase price. Or if they don't want to renegotiate and you don't want to come in with the gift with those additional funds, then you can walk. You can go find another home. There's also another option is if you're already coming in with some additional funds and you're coming in with a higher down payment, then we can just okay. I don't know if we went on offline. Are you still there, Sydney? Okay. It looked like mine had gone offline. I may have to move to another room. It looks like my internet's really bad. So I'm going to keep talking. Anyway, so if you are, so that's some of the things you can do if you are my workout room. So I'm going to sit right here. So that's some of the couple of things you can do if the appraisal comes in too low. So what happens if it comes in too high? Well, great. Now you just are buying a home with some additional equity. So it's not a big deal. We don't tell the sellers that the appraisal came in too high because we don't want them to have any seller's regret. So unless you tell them, they're not going to know. So let's go back to a refinance. What happens on a refinance if your appraisal comes in too low? So it really depends on if you're trying to get some cash out. So if you're getting cash out and the appraisal comes in too low, then we may have to adjust the cash out amount down a little bit. But if you have plenty of equity, then it may not be a big deal because you've got plenty of equity and it may not affect anything at all. So it just really depends on what your loan amount is and how much it comes in too low. And if you're not getting cash out and you have plenty of equity, it doesn't affect it at all. So it really may not be a big deal. It just depends on how bad that is and how much lower it is. And if it comes in too high, then great. Then we can if it comes in higher than we expect, good thing. Then you have some additional equity, so not a big deal there. Or if you're getting cash out, you may be able to have the option of getting a little more cash out. So that's some of the things you can do if your appraisal comes in too high or too low, and so you've got options. I know we had some questions. I don't see him right now. Sydney, can you come back on? And I'm just getting notices that our LinkedIn is not working right. So
Yeah.
that's
So
okay.
the questions that we've had come in are, who contacts and hires the appraiser?
Okay, so we have to do that. If you already have an appraisal done and you ordered it, unfortunately, we cannot use that appraisal. A lender has to be the one that that orders the appraisal. It has to be in our name. So unfortunately, if you have an appraisal that's already done, we're not going to be able to use it. So we're going to take care of that. Don't stress about it. Just don't worry about it. We take care of that. What other questions do we have?
The next one is, what is the difference between a home inspection and an appraisal?
So a home inspection, that's a great question, because I actually had somebody confusing that just the other day. So a home inspection is something that you hire to be done, and they're going to come and they're going to look at all the different things in your house. They're going to look at, well, as much as they can. Obviously, they can't pull sheetrock off and look at the plumbing, but they can test things within the plumbing. They can test your electrical. They can go up in your attic and see what the insulation looks like, and if there's any possibilities of leaks, or they can check your foundation. They can make sure the slope's right away from your house and the water's not going to gather around your house. So there's lots of things that the inspector checks for to protect you, to know what you're buying. Now, the appraisal gives us an opinion of value. So that's the biggest thing that we are looking for in an appraisal. Now, there are certain things that an appraisal will check for, depending on the appraisal. If it's a government loan, FHA, VA, USDA, they will check to make sure there's no peeling paint, especially if it's built before a certain year when they were using lead paint. And if there's so peeling paint, broken windows, things like that. Government loans want to make sure that you're buying a house that is still safe, and so they will check for some of those things. But do not confuse an appraisal with a home inspection. Very, very different. Hopefully that answered that question.
Okay, the next question is, how should you prepare for a refinance appraisal?
A refinance appraisal. So preparing your house is, I don't know that I would do a whole lot. I know some people think they have to go and clean their house and make it look like immaculate. An appraiser doesn't look at the mess. They're looking at how many square feet you have and what condition the house is in. Obviously, if you have a chance to clean it up, the better the presentation you make. Always, that's always a little bit better than not having it look good. So, but I wouldn't spend like time to go out and making sure your house looks immaculate. There's a difference between an appraiser looking at your house and a buyer looking at your house. So they'll look past a lot of that stuff where a buyer may not. So just make sure it's presentable, but don't get too carried away. Don't stress about it.
All right, last question. Do appraisers look for different things in a refinance appraisal than a home purchase appraisal?
No, they're looking basically for the same thing. Like I said, we're looking for an opinion of value. And so it doesn't matter whether it's in a purchase or a refinance. They're going to look for the exact same things. So, yeah, so those are great questions. Any other things?
That's everything.
Okay, cool. Sorry for the little glitch at the beginning of this, and I had to walk into my, I have a treadmill and a little Bowflex here, and so I had to walk into it because this is where my This is where my modem is, and so I got a little bit better service here. So don't forget, we are giving away two $25 gift cards. Watch for that. How to enter for those starting tomorrow, and we'll be giving those out for the next 2 weeks. And then we have, I think that's it, right? Is that right? Okay, looking at Sydney in the background. Yes, so that's it. Anyway, looking forward to talking to you guys soon. You have questions about home financing, grants, no down payment programs, we're the experts. Give us a call, and I look forward to talking to you soon.